when you got the call to play with Jason Nelson,
Mm-hmm.
that's when, even that time, that's when I actually like put a face to the name.
Right.
How was that experience? And when you got the call, were you familiar with like his past projects or what he was looking for? Like,
I mean, of course, man. Jason was phenomenal and still is a phenomenal singer. I knew of Jason from, of course, from church, Greater Bethlehem Temple. His dad, Bishop Nelson. Not only that, but the Underground Tie Tribute records that he was on.
Yep, no better time now.
Yep.
Do your homework.
Who doesn't know I Shall Live?
Absolutely.
So just to kind of go back a little bit, the session that I did, the first session that I did with Calvin, what I didn't know is that it was really preparing me for the session that I would get called to do with Jason. After I did the session with Calvin, I really locked in, man. Like it was a life-changing experience. I got the call from Dana Sorey. I never forget, it was a Saturday morning. I'm sitting at my breakfast table. And he called me and he asked me would I want to be a part. And, I was like, man, are you kidding? Like, absolutely.
Right.
And man, that opportunity right there changed my life. The record went on to win a Stellar Award. It was nominated for multiple Stellar Awards, nominated for multiple awards. And from there, a lot of doors opened for me. That was like my introduction as to being like a professional drummer, man. I really locked in on that music because I really wanted to make an impact. And that record was able to be heard around the world and really make an impact, man. Like, and I think Shifting was on the charts for like a record breaking, for a while, man. So
long time.
It was a great opportunity, man. It was a learning experience, and working with Dana Sorey as a producer really prepared me because Dana is one of those producers where, he's gonna make it mistake proof. Like he's gonna have the music to you months in advance. He's gonna make sure everybody's prepared.
Right.
So he made sure that I had everything that I needed in that moment to get the job done, man. And I really appreciate that moment. I don't take it for granted. Shout out to Pastor Jay, Dana, all of the crew.
Absolutely.
Love you guys.
Now, when you got that call, I know you said when you initially got the call for Isaiah, he told you was happy. Like, hey, Calvin. He was like, oh, Lord.
Right.
Now, at this point in your life, you talk to Dana. He wants you to come on board and do the session. Are you still nervous? Are you kind of like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for this moment. Do you know what Dana's expecting? Like, okay, does he know like what my style? Of course, he knows what you bring to the table, but like, what is he looking for? What's he looking for from me? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was still nervous because at that time, Dana was still a part of the whole sound check crew.
Right.
And we all know how phenomenal sound check is. I mean, phenomenal. Like phenomenal doesn't even really, do it any justice. But when he called, man, it was just like, okay, I feel like I'm ready. And if I got the call, then I have no other choice but to be ready. You know what I mean? So, man, it was just like, okay, cool. I gotta lock in, do what I gotta do. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So, what I think is interesting is that you locked in with Dana. Shout out to Dana. Shout out to Pastor Jay.
Yes, sir.
Locked in with Dana. I think you guys did 3 recordings together?
No, man. I think, okay, so you had Shifting, you had Jesus Revealed, you had, oh man, I think it's like 5, Jay.
Oh, wow.
It's like 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
The new one makes 5.
Yeah, the new one makes 5.
The new one makes 5.
Yeah, the new one makes 5.
So, from the outside looking in, it seemed like Dana's like, okay, Ella's my guy. I can trust him. I know what I'm getting. Because when we saw you playing with Brian Courtney Wilson, was that a relationship from Dana as well? Another call, Dana said, I know who to call for this.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it was because of what Dana has because what Dana has been able to trust me with in the past, and he's been able to see what I'm capable of. As far as musically,
Right.
you know, Dana has watched me grow as a musician from shifting the atmosphere all the way up until now, and he's given me opportunities to still grow.
Right.
I didn't know it all when I did shifting. I was still learning. But the more you work with a producer, the more you get to learn that producer. And the more you learn that producer, the more comfortable that producer is with you because they know what they can trust you with and what you're capable of. Like I said, when I came to the table, man, I didn't have everything that I have now. I wasn't privy to all of the information and the approach and all of the music that I'm privy to now. But Dana continued to call, man, and give me an opportunity. And I value that, because people don't have to do that. You could have easily called somebody that, had way more experiences that could come in that wasn't kind of like on the job training.
Right.
But he continued to call and he continued to trust me with that. And because he continued to trust me with that, I did my due diligence of making sure I was always building myself to be a better musician, well-rounded, and that's the thing I like about Dana. Like he's not just, and there's nothing wrong with this, but he's not just a gospel producer. He is,
Absolutely, yeah.
Very well-rounded in his approach. So that requires the musicians that he calls and works with to be well-rounded in their approach as well.
Right.
So, I love being able to work with producers that, bring the best out of you as far as, your approach. So, and I've been blessed and fortunate, man, to work with a lot of producers that do that, like somebody like a Justin Savage or, like we mentioned, a Dana Sorey or, like a
Daryl.
good friend of mine, Daryl Woodson.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
Incredible.
Absolutely.
Daryl Woodson. A lot of guys, man, and I'm just blessed and fortunate to be able to have those opportunities for sure.
So, next question, setting up, but how long from shifting up to now, how long have you been playing with Jason?
I think we recorded Shifting in 2009 or 2010.
Okay.
So now is 2024. So it's been about 14 years.
14 years.
And I was already coming in filling some big shoes because he had an incredible drummer before I came. Like,
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
For sure.
So, like I said, getting that call from Dana and being from Baltimore, being familiar with the previous band, I know for some people it can be a little, I don't want to say difficult, it can be a little uneasy, kind of like sitting in this seat.
Right.
One from like a fan perspective, gospel perspective, like, oh, we used to seeing Royal there. Like, man, like, where, like, especially for people who are out the loop, like, where Royal at? Like, oh man, like,
right.
how do you deal with that? One, still keeping that relationship so things don't get weird.
Right.
And two, just knowing that, okay, I gotta play like myself. Like they called me for a reason. They want something new. Like, how was that like mending those relationships and kind of like not making it weird? Because it takes anything in this industry for something to get weird. Like somebody call you, you didn't hear him. Like, oh, see, he got the gig now. He got brand new. He don't share with how do you navigate that? Like preserving those relationships.
So, to be honest with you, man, like my relationships outside of work are my relationships outside of work. Like nothing I do as it pertains to work, I try not to let it weigh on my personal relationships. And a lot of times, I had to learn this as well. Sometimes, man, when you don't get the call, you can't really take it personal.
Right.
Sometimes it's just some people may just feel like it's a better fit for them to call somebody else, or it may just be a better business decision, for the best interest of the outcome of the product that they're looking for.
Right.
So honestly, I didn't really think it was gonna mess any relationships up. I just felt like maybe they were trying to go in a different direction. And to be honest with you, at the time when I got the call to do that, I did not know that it would turn into me playing for Jason long term.
Right.
You know, because to be honest with you, Jay, I mean, we all been there. Like, we move on. You know,
Yeah.
we move on for some stuff. And sometimes you just never know. Like, if I were to stay in this seat that I'm sitting in right now, and somebody else came down here, right, and they needed somewhere to sit, and I never got up, you know, then I'm robbing that person of an
Right.
opportunity to,
Absolutely,
sit
yeah.
in this seat, right? At the end of the day, you know, there's an expiration date on seats and the places that we occupy, and it's to our benefit, to be honest with you. So, you know, the previous drummer that was in that situation, shout out to Royal Higgins, he was in that seat, and I mean, phenomenal drummer,
Royal
like,
was
from
a legend.
Baltimore, man, like, still is to this very day.
Yes.
But you know, and he still plays on another level. But you know, some people just move. You know, some people just move on to other things. You know, and I never really looked at it as being weird or anything like that. I think that, you know, people just move on to different things, man. And you know, when the opportunity happened, I was honored that I got to sit in a seat that, you know, Royal Higgins once sat in, because he's a phenomenal musician. You know,
Facts.
for
Facts.
sure.